creative solutions for back-to-office messaging. For the past several weeks, businesses everywhere have been creating new health and safety policies in preparation to welcome their employees back to work. As offices begin to open their doors, it's important to ensure new safety protocols are followed and understood by all. Our creative technology department worked alongside our HR team to create engaging and informative resources to welcome our employees back and help them get adjusted to our new office normal. From educational videos and digital media to a health screening application, we created a series of engaging resources to help keep our staff informed of all the new policies put in place. Thank you for joining us today as we explored these solutions to help give you some creative ideas for informing and sharing new policies and important information with your team. In this webinar, we'll go over video messaging, interactive documentation and presentations, digital media and applications, and collaboration tools. There will be a Q&A session after the presentation, but feel free to leave any comments in the chat box and we will get to them at the end.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this morning for our webinar. My name's Kristine Bruno and I'm the marketing manager here at GraVoc. With me, I have Jade Brewer, who is a media producer in our creative technology department. And we're also joined by Jill Rizzo, who is our HR generalist here at GraVoc. Today, what we want to talk about is creative solutions for back to office messaging. So for the past several weeks now, administrators, HR departments, and maybe even you have needed to create new health and safety policies as a result of COVID-19. As employees come back to the office, unfortunately, it cannot just be business as usual. There's going to be a lot of new, safety policies put in place for everyone's benefit. And instead of just sending out a big email with all of this information in it or a big Word document with just text on it that's really boring to read, we're going to show you some creative resources that we're using here at GraVoc to help our coworkers get adjusted back to the office, some tools that we created for our customers to help their employees get adjusted back to the office, and then some resources that we created specifically for this presentation to show all of you how you can make your messaging as creative as possible. So Jade and I were the ones who created the resources, but Jill was actually the one who worked with our management team to create the re-entry training guide. So I'm going to hand this over to Jill real quick. And Jill, if you don't mind just briefly talking about our new training guide and kind of why it's so important for employees everywhere to follow their new training guide as they re-enter back into the office.
Thanks, Kristine. So over the past few months, our HR team has been attending countless webinars and meetings and working with our benefits and HR vendors to stay on top of the ever-changing COVID-19 pandemic. We've been in remote operations since about March, and during this time, we really had a chance to step back and reevaluate our workforce and our in-office operations. A few of us were actually able to go to the office and see what we needed for supplies and what areas were no longer able to be used, desks that couldn't safely social distance for when we're able to return to the office. We had to take a lot of things into consideration while we were planning: staggered work shifts, how many people will be in the office at one time, masks, social distancing, where people would eat lunch since we're going to be marking off the refrigerator and areas in the kitchen, and how we would safely provide supplies to our employees as well as stay on top of our cleaning protocol. Next, we had to actually reconfigure things at the office and order the necessary supplies to keep people safe and put our plan into action. So we had ordered masks, gloves, soap, hand sanitizer, disinfectant spray and wipes, plexiglass separators for desks closer than the recommended 6 feet. And then once we had configured our plan to phase back into the office and had everything mapped out, and we actually had the okay to get people back into the office, it was really time to get this out in a creative way while still providing the training material and guidelines for the building to all of our employees. So all of this information can really be intimidating, but we knew we had to effectively communicate this information to our employees for it to actually be successful. We wouldn't be able to implement a safe return to the office unless all of our employees were well informed and also on board with the plan that we have in place. So we know there's a lot of information to absorb, and we didn't want to overwhelm people, but we also wanted to clearly communicate our plan and guidelines in our training. So instead, we put the information into a fun and creative way so that our employees would want to get engaged and learn this new normal with us. We know sometimes when you bombard employees or anybody really with plain documentation, they don't fully read it or engage with it. And I also think it provides a lot of comfort for people to know that we have a plan in place and they're able to see firsthand the precautionary measures we're planning to take. A lot of questions that our employees have had for us are actually answered in our video and our PowerPoint presentations. So once we felt that we had this solid reentry plan in place, we pulled our creative tech team in, and they were able to create some really awesome visuals for us to relay this information to our employees. It included a short video and an informational PowerPoint with graphics to break down the training in a fun way. So I'm going to send it back to Kristine, and she'll show you some of our examples.
Yes, thank you, Jill. So one of the first things that we talked about creating, Jade and I, was a video. Video is probably one of the most engaging ways that you can get your messaging out. And I'm going to actually hand this over to Jade, who's actually going to show you the video that we made here at GraVoc, and to give you some different ideas of how you can create a video kind of like this and use it for your back to office messaging. So Jade, why don't you kind of show the video that we made here at GraVoc and talk to it?
Thanks, Kristine. So the video that we made to help our employees understand and engage with this information was a combination of live action and animated video. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that now. So as this video plays, I'm just going to kind of talk over it and talk through it with you. But what we did is we started off with Dave and Kathy really showing or talking about exactly why we're doing things the way that we're doing them, and giving a really great introduction into the overall climate of what back to office is going to be for us. And then following their address, we launched into the actual animated explanation of the policies themselves. So the animated video is a really great way to have something colorful and fun to present information to people. It's a very popular way to do explainer videos. So that was the format that we chose, especially because it coincides with our branding, to deliver this information to our team. So we, like Jill said, there was a lot of planning and information that needed to be communicated internally, and the new policies would affect everyone. And the purpose of making the video was to get the information out in an engaging way and keep people's attention. And like Jill said, and be fun to engage with. The script that we worked on together was actually resources that Jill created explaining the policies. And then what we did is we worked collaboratively to make those policies work as a video script. So we did the voiceover and animated it and made it really, really digestible. And from there, we added really fun, quirky things like animated scenes that looked like The Office, and even little characters that looked like some of our coworkers, so that hopefully those little Easter eggs would, make people excited and actually enjoy watching the video while they're learning about these new policies. But our choice in doing the animated video isn't the only way you can make a video like this. Not everyone has the resources or skills to be able to produce something like this. So if you don't have the budget to hire a team to make something, or if you just simply want to make something yourself, it can be as simple as, grabbing a camera or grabbing your phone and walking through those policies and new procedures or any new information really that you wish to share with your employees, and doing it on camera. Giving someone something visual to look at is a really great way to help explain things, and can often be more effective than handing someone a paper document. That's not to say that you can't use documentation to actually supplement those videos. So what we did is we actually created a whole package of information that we're going to be supplying to our team here at GraVoc. So along with the video, you can actually create a lot of supplementary documentation or assets that can coincide with the video, or even replace it if necessary. So if an employee has a question or anything like that, they don't have to rewatch an entire video to get their question answered. They can actually refer to a PDF or a PowerPoint or some other kind of documentation. Kristine actually made some really great examples of an interactive PDF and an interactive PowerPoint that you can create using the tools that you already have to either supplement or use instead of a video. So Kristine, actually, do you want to show off that really cool PDF that you made?
Definitely. Thank you, Jade. So like Jade said, not everyone is going to, wants to watch a video, or they would rather have a tangible piece of content that they can actually go back to and reference whenever they want. So this is an interactive PDF that we made here at GraVoc. I'm going to go down the PDF to show you it first, and then I'll explain to you exactly how we did everything. So right here, right away, you see that we directly embedded the video that Jade had made directly onto the PDF. The video doesn't necessarily have to be a video that you made. You can link any video from the web onto this PDF. So if you have, the World Health Organization has been putting out great video content, you can easily grab that YouTube video and embed it straight to your PDF. As we go down here, you're going to see that there's some quick links down here. Now, these are all buttons that are actually clickable. If you click onto any one of these, it's going to bring you directly down to that section of the training guide. And we have the icons over here with the little information to the right of it. The user can go back by hitting the menu button straight to that first page. And again, this is adding, a sense of engagement and interactiveness to it rather than just having a static document. Another cool thing that we did down here is, if I zoom in, you'll notice down the bottom, we have this little consent thing. It says, I have read and understand these new policies pertaining to the kitchen. We put that in there because at the last page down here is an employee acknowledgement. So this is saying, I understood, I read all these guidelines, and I will adhere to these policies as best as I can. You can have the employee digitally sign it using Adobe Sign and then send it back to the manager just for their records. So having a document like this, it creates more engagement for the viewer rather than just having a static document with just text on it. I created this in a program called Adobe InDesign. However, you can easily create this in Word. So you would create the document in whatever program that you're using, and then you would bring it into Adobe Acrobat to add in this engagement. So I'm going to show you the actual raw document that I created using InDesign. So this is the actual document, and you can easily replicate this in Microsoft Word. Everything I did here, you can easily, do in any program that you're using. So to start, what I did was, since this is where I wanted to put my video, all I did was add a placeholder right there. So this box, all that is a square box that I colored in black so that it would signal to me, this is where I want to put the video. When you export this from whatever program that you're using, you bring it into Adobe Acrobat, and there's actually these tools. If you click on more tools, they have a whole list of tools that you can select. And if you click on Rich Media, which is right here, it's going to ask you, okay, what do you want to add? A button, add a sound, add a video. So that's exactly what I want to do. I'm just going to draw a box right over my placeholder, and it's going to ask me, select your file or insert it from a URL. So this is where I said earlier, it doesn't have to be a video that you made. You can easily link any video to this PDF. For this one, we had the file on here on my desktop. So I'm just going to add that. If I do show advanced options, this is where you can kind of get creative with it. You can enable it whenever, if you want the video to load right when the page opens, you can do that. I think that's kind of annoying. So I have it so that when it's clicked, it plays. Another cool thing down here is that you can create a thumbnail. So I wanted to have a specific thumbnail for this. So I created a separate one. Once you click OK, you select your thumbnail. It's going to do its little thing, and it's going to import that video directly on to that PDF for you. And now it's clickable. You can watch it. It's good to go. So that's exactly how you add in a video to a PDF. The next thing I want to talk about quickly is just how we did these links down here. So if you remember, these are all clickable. Very, very easy to do. So in whatever program that you're using, you just designed something that looks like a button. So all this is a square with an image laid on top of it with a little title. And if you click on Edit PDF from Acrobat right over here, you're going to get this link button. So you click on Add or Edit Web or Document Link, and then you draw that link right over the button. Once you do that, it's going to ask you, do you want it to be invisible? I do want it to be invisible because I had already added the button, visually using my design program. It's going to ask me, what do you want it to do? Since we're internally linking it, we're going to go to a page view. So it's going to ask you, okay, use your scroll bar to zoom down to the page view that you want. So you would scroll down since this is the first page. Just go like that. I'm going to click Set Link. And now my button is set. That's automatically going to drop that user down to the next page. The same thing applied for this little menu button. All this is just an icon that we grabbed from online, and then we're linking this to the first page. So it's going to ask me again, go to page view. And then all I would have to do is set that page view that I want, set link, and now I have a menu button right in my PDF that's interactive. The last thing that we want to talk about is the consent form. So this employee signature, you'll notice that I didn't do anything. Acrobat actually picked up that this was a signature and it added it in itself. To add in the check boxes, which are these right here, you'll notice that these aren't clickable at all. Like I can't click it. So in order to make that an interactive checkbox, all you would have to do is there's an option called Prepare Form right on the side here. It's one of the tool options. I'll go into that again. So right here, Prepare Form. This is going to allow you to add in more interactive tools. So if you look right up here, there's this checkbox. So all I did was click on that and draw it over my little consent box down here. Now I just created a checkbox that the user can click it and engage with it a little bit more, saying I did acknowledge it and I did read it. So again, those are just little tools and tips and tricks to kind of make your PDF come to life rather than just having a static PDF that's boring with just text on it. Making it interactive can really, make it beneficial and make the employee actually, engage with it a lot more. Along the same topic of documentation, interactive documentation, are PowerPoints. I know that PowerPoints, they're a great tool to use to get your messaging across. And I want to talk to you about a different spin on PowerPoint and how you can make this interactive. Again, we're not using this specifically at GraVoc. We had created a separate PowerPoint we're actually using the video as our messaging. And I created this to show you guys an example of how you can make this interactive and how you can make a PowerPoint into more of a training guide. So right when you go on this first page right here, it's a table of contents, and these are all clickable icons. So if you were to click on any of these, it's going to bring you to that section of the PowerPoint. If they click on Let's Go, you're going to get all the information pertaining to that particular section. If I click back on the menu button, it's going to bring me back to that main screen where the user can go ahead and read the rest of it. Now, this operates just like a regular PowerPoint. So if the user did not want to go through all that, they could just click through and get to it as a regular PowerPoint. I think the benefit with having this is that, again, you're adding that engaging aspect to it and you're making it more interactive for the user to interact with it. I'm a more visual learner. I like to click around things. I don't like to just get a static PowerPoint that, just has text and bullet points on it. If you can make it interactive, kind of like this, I think this adds kind of like it's fun. It's fun, it's engaging, and they'll probably be more prone to pay more attention to this. Let me show you exactly how we did this. So this is very, very simple to do. So just like the PDF that we created, you'll notice this is just a box. That's all that is just a square box. And then what we did was we overlaid an icon on top of it to give it that button feel. Once you create your button and you have your text, your little icon, if you go on to Insert from the top up here, you can even right click on it and you'll get hyperlink. It's going to ask you I already have a hyperlink on here, but if you didn't, it would ask you to create one, and you would land on this default page, which is the web page or file. I don't want to link it to a web page. I want to internally link it to this document. So once you go on here, then you can easily click on, so this is the introduction slide. So I wanted to go to the third slide, which is the welcome back. And that will create the button for you. So again, I'm not going to spend too much time on PowerPoint. And we did just want to present to you, a different spin on PowerPoint and how you can make it more engaging and more interactive. And this is a really, really easy and fun way to do that rather than just having a boring PowerPoint. So along with interactive documentations, you could also have web solutions. And Jade, I'm going to pass this back over to Jade, and she's going to talk about two different solutions that we created here at GraVoc. One of them is a web page that we created as a training guide, and the other one is actually a cool screening application that we created for a customer of ours. So Jade, why don't you start by talking about the web page that we created?
Thanks, Kristine. Yes, so we actually created a web page that is used to house all of our documentation and assets, as well as a web application. So I'm going to show you the web page that was created. So I'm going to share my screen right now. So here we go. So this is the web page that that Kristine created in order to showcase all of this information. So a great reason to do a web page is to have all of your documentation, especially if you have it in multiple forms like we do, all in one place. So members of your team can actually go in and bookmark it and refer back to it whenever they need it. So here, what you can see is our return to office video that we created is right at the top, since this is something that we want the team to see right away. And then as you scroll down, all of the other information and policies are all broken down into really digestible bullet points so that people are really easily able to find the information that they're looking for. A couple things that are pretty unique to the web page versus the other types of information that we've showed you so far is that the web page is actually mobile responsive. So if I go in here and change my screen size, the web page is going to resize appropriately. So your team is going to be able to view all of this information on multiple different types of screens, whether that's their phone or a tablet, and they'll have access to this information no matter what kind of device they are working on. Also, on our particular page, we added a couple of unique items that's really going to be helpful for the employees. So as you scroll down, you can see that all the information is broken out into bullets, like I said before, with handy icons to keep things visual so people are able to find things quickly. And then once you get down to the bottom, we do have a downloads and resources section. So you're able to download our interactive PDF directly from here, so someone can print it out if they want to or save it to their computer. And we also have a couple other resources that we found helpful, like a link to the CDC website or the Massachusetts COVID tracker. Also, we do have a questions and comments section down here at the bottom. So if an employee has a question that might not necessarily be super urgent, or their manager is out of office and they do need something answered, they can type a question into this section here and get their question answered. So you can also use this method to showcase your COVID policies or any other information for your customers as well. So if this page was public on our website, our customers would technically also be able to submit questions here too. So if they wanted to really understand how we were working to protect both our employees and our customers, they would be able to ask a question. So on the topic of protecting our employees and our customers, we also created a COVID questionnaire web application. So this is something that can be done a couple different ways. So you could do it through an actual web application, or you could do it through creating a form. So first, I'm going to show you the web application that we created. This was pretty unique. It came to us from a customer that was looking to solve a problem. They were looking to be able to have their employees kind of track their health and possible symptoms and give that information to managers so that everyone could understand whether or not they were going to be able to come into the office depending on how they were feeling. And that way there would be no gray area really for the employees. So the purpose of the app is to have a safe way for companies to assure their employees that they're following the guidelines that are set by the company and the government. And each day the employees would complete the questionnaire on their phone or their computer at home just by visiting the link provided by the company. If necessary, they would be asked to refrain from entering the office if they're showing symptoms, and if they're not showing symptoms, they would be able to go to work just as normal. So the results of the questionnaire are stored securely, and I can actually show you this example right now. Let me just share my screen with you once again. Okay, so this is actually the framework for the questionnaire application that we built. It's a really, really simple application that people can use right on their phone. First thing you would need to do is enter your name and your email and hit continue. Then it's going to list off all of the potential, it's going to list off all of the different symptoms that you could potentially be feeling. So the employee would just go through and see if any of these things applied to them. So I'm feeling pretty good, but I'm going to say that I've got a sore throat. That's really all. So I'm going to check no on the rest of these here. And then once I've gone through the questionnaire, I'm going to hit next. It's going to present me with a confirmation stating that I acknowledge that the answers are accurate to the best of my knowledge and represent my symptoms. Hit confirm and submit. And now, since I said that I had a sore throat, it's going to ask me to refrain from entering the office and follow proper health guidelines set forth by the CDC. As a manager, you would actually have access to the results page as well. So you would actually be able to see what the different employees' symptoms were, and if someone failed the questionnaire and had to refrain from going into the office. I'm going to show you a live example of something like this in action. We do have another group that did something very similar. Northeast Arc is a customer of ours, and they actually implemented a similar form style questionnaire on their website. And I'm going to show you that as another example. Let me just share my screen with you one last time. Okay, so this one is, like I said, a simple form that was implemented on their website. So same idea. An employee would enter in their name and then work through the list of possible symptoms. So I'm going to just check off once again, I've got a sore throat. And the results here I would choose one of these two boxes. So since I checked off a box, I'm going to say that I'm going to have to call the residential on-call nursing phone number and let them know that I am experiencing symptoms. Hit next. Next, it brings you to an acknowledgement to sign that your answers are true to the best of your knowledge. And this particular form is HIPAA compliant because they are collecting health data. So this is a great example of how you can use your website to collect this kind of information and protect your employees and your customers by making sure that everyone is following the CDC guidelines and staying healthy and only going into the office when they're healthy. So a big part of making sure that everyone is staying happy, healthy, and following guidelines is collaboration and communication. We've used a ton of different collaboration tools throughout this process, and Kristine actually set up some really cool stuff within Microsoft Teams Microsoft Teams is a collaboration tool that we've been using since the start of all of this. And Kristine, why don't you show them the really cool stuff that you created in there?
Yeah, so the next thing we're going to talk about is collaboration tools. Collaboration tools really came to the forefront once COVID-19 hit. So at GraVoc, we used Microsoft Teams to keep everyone on the same page. Right when COVID first hit, we created a separate team channel called COVID-19, and that is where we kept all of our employees informed about our, work from home policy and all of the, information pertaining to COVID-19 as it was coming out. As we're adjusting back into the office, we created another channel called Back to Office. Now, the cool thing with this is that you can add in tabs at the top here and add in your own documents to these tabs. So an example of what we did is we took the PDF that we created and exported them as single pages and then added them as tabs to the top of our Teams channel. The benefit of having these tabs directly at the top is that if anyone needs information about, oh, how do I book a meeting room, or what's the new policies for the restroom, they can easily go to this channel and then click it right at the top. Another benefit of having these tabs at the top is that you can embed pretty much anything. So if you have a video that you want to embed that straight to the top of the channel. We're linking the video that we created right to the top so that people can easily have access to it. Another cool feature with Teams is that you can embed websites. So on here, we're directly embedding the CDC website onto here in case anyone wanted, further information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They can go right to that tab and get the information. Along the same lines as that website is we added in this COVID-19 tracker for Massachusetts. It's completely interactive. And all this is just a link from Bing pointing to that website. So let me show you how we added these tabs right up here. On every team channel that you have, there's this little plus button. And if you click on that, you're going to get this whole list of different tabs and applications that you can integrate into your team channel. So what we did here is we added the PDF, which is where you saw the meeting rooms, the kitchen, the restrooms. For the video, all we did was paste in the YouTube video, the link for that. And then for the websites, we just added the website. So once you click on website, you just paste in the URL and it's going to automatically add it to the top up here. The same concept would apply for whatever collaboration tool that you are using. So if you're using Slack, if you're using Teams, I think the general idea is to kind of create that centralized location where you can go to get all the information that you need. So we created a bunch of different resources, and by just adding them to the top of our channel, we're just making it, easily accessible for our employees to get them. I think that's all we had. Jade, am I missing anything? We went through our video messaging, we went through our interactive documentation, our web solutions, and we showed you how you can tie all this in together through your collaboration tools. So I think with that, we'll just open it up for questions. If anyone has any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat box on the side, and we will answer them to the best of our ability. All right. So it looks like we got a few questions. PDF with video, very cool. Can't say I've seen that before. Definitely. I don't think a lot of people realize that you can actually embed a video onto a PDF like that. I think you need the Acrobat Pro version in order to do that. But as long as you have the Pro version, you are able to embed pretty much any video or an interactive checkbox or anything like that. And then Tony asked, can GraVoc train us on PDF videos? Absolutely. If anyone needs help with learning Acrobat or learning how to maneuver it, please feel free to reach out to any of us. Like, we're happy to help. We use Acrobat here on a daily basis, and it's probably one of the greatest tools that we have. We got two other questions, and I'm going to actually hand over to Jade. Jade, do you want to take the video question, the application question?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do provide video services to either create or help create these back to office videos. So We do offer animation services. We can come and help film, or we can even provide editing services for someone if they already have the assets filmed. Especially right now, a lot of people are doing a lot of at-home filming because of social distancing. So what we could do in that situation is you could provide us with the video content, and then we could actually polish it, add graphics, and make it really, really fun. For the application, the version that I showed you that was the application framework can be adapted for just about anyone. If you have any specific questions on the application, I would highly recommend going to our contact form on GraVoc.com and filling it out, and it'll actually put you in touch with one of our developers. If you're interested in having one of these forms implemented, the developers will work with you, and we can figure out what the best solution for you is.
Awesome. Thank you, Jade. And I don't think we got any other questions. So with that, I guess we are going to end it. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We hope that everyone's re-entry into the office is as smooth as possible, and we hope that everyone continues to stay safe out there. So thank you for joining us.